Before this video starts, this series is based on my personal experience and my point of view. I'm not making these videos to embarrass, shame, or send hate toward anyone involved. Some details have been changed to protect everyone's privacy, and I won't be using any real names. Everyone has their own side of a story, and this series only shares mine. Please don't judge, harass, or send hate to anyone and me because of these videos. My goal is simply to tell my experience, share what I learned, and hopefully help others who have gone through something similar. Part 1. The introduction. So, in playgroup, I was friends with a girl named A. Like I said, I ain't gonna tell her real name. And same with the others, she wasn't just a friend. She was my first friend and bestie. So her mom told my mom that she A always talks about me, always M. Mem, M, and my mom told her mom same in our house, always A. So in like nursery, COVID happened and me and A weren't allowed to use WhatsApp, and we didn't have each other's numbers, so I was stuck in online classes because of my dad, who's a doctor. The teacher said I need to come to school to give the final exams. But my dad was like, hell nah, and I gave the final exams in online classes. So when I went to prep and I met a girl named O, and we became friends on the first day. A wasn't with me in prep. Part 2. The jealousy. So when we went in, first grade lunchtime happened outside the class, not inside the class, and yeah, me and A talked in prep. When I saw she was going to the washroom, I would ask my teacher to go, then we will talk in stalls. So anyways, back to first grade when me and I found out that break time will happen outside the class. We were like, yes, we can talk. So whenever it was break, I would go looking for her and we would talk and play, and I always invited O to come join us. But one day me and A were talking, and O said, Mem, can I talk to you personally about something? I was like, okay, and told A to wait, and when me and O were alone, O said, me or a pick one. I said, what? No, I can't choose one. O interrupted, if you don't choose, we aren't friends anymore. And I, being the girl that I was, I said, oh yar, I can't. Then we aren't friends anymore. And I was like, fine, be right back, and broke friendship with A. When I came back, O asked excitedly, did you broke friendship with her? I said, yeah. And then she gave a party. Yeah, a literally freaking party. When I broke friendship with A, the next day she came to me and said, were you serious about yesterday? Were you mad at me? Or did O said to you to break friendship with me? I just ignored her because O was watching me from afar. And when A saw O, she understood why. I was ignoring her, then she left. And when I came home, I went to my room and started crying. Part 3. A long time after the incident. In third grade, O said hi to A. And I said, we have broken friendship with her. And she said, it's been a long time. PT3 is short, like very short. Part 4. It made me stunned. So one day in fourth grade, it was home time. Me, O, and S were playing. S is one of my friends. And on the intercom, it announced that A's parents have come to pick her up, and S said, A, do you know about her M? I said, yeah, she was my friend. S said, best friend. And I said, yeah. S then said, are you still friends with her? I said, no. She said, why? I said, ask O. O said, I only wanted M to talk to me, play with me, laugh with me, no one else. So I made M to break friendship with A. I was completely shocked, heartbroken, and stunned. Part 5. The part which also happened in fourth grade. So in fourth grade, T joined the school. So anyways, one day O was with K and S. So I called her to come with us, but she said no. So later I went with D. She's a friend of mine. So after a while I said to come yar, she said, you never let me hang out with my other friends? God, you're so annoying. So I came back to T with D, so only me. TD were at the seats, O was with her other friends, and Z was absent. Z is one of my besties, so when lunchtime ended, we said bye to D 'cause she is in another section. So when we went back to class, it was games lesson. So we went outside and I said to all the girls to ignore O, K, and S as a prank. So when they saw we were ignoring them, we all said, prank. He and K and S were like, is this a prank? Who pranks like that? And O left us. So while the girls were arguing with K and S, I went to O and said, oh, can't I spend time with my other friends? So after a while, me and O started fighting. In front of all the girls except who were absent and K and S. Me and O started shouting. And I said, oh, really then? Why did you make me break friendship with A? K, I don't. Remember what O said? So W was like A, her full legal name. I said, yeah. And H said, we are friends with A. We can make you two friends again. And I said, really? She said, yeah. And then I hugged them. Part 6, the conclusion. So the next day they dragged me to A like, bro, I was ABT to fall what? Anyways, they made us friends again. But after 4 years of me ignoring her, and she ignoring me, the friendship wasn't same anymore. She had moved on. I also had moved on but still ignore me as she should. But T made her life mission to make my life a living hell around her. Before I tell you what she does, she is genuinely a good person, but not in that story. And I think if she knew the whole story, she wouldn't to that. Anyways, so back to the story whenever passes by T and me T says, look, your friend pronounces her name wrong as usual, but maybe she doesn't know how to pronounce it right cause when I correct her, she used the real pronouncement once. T said, she doesn't treat you like you treat her. Like, girl, what do you about me and A? And when I told Z the shorter version of the story, she said, oh, bribed you. Girl, I didn't know she was gonna give me a party. When H and W made me friends with A, T said that, like after a week, A will come in our section, or M will go in her section. Like broth, weeth. And yeah, you know it kind of feels wrong to still be friends with O. But I think she's changed. A lot in a good way. O has realized her mistake, and once said, I was young and dumb. When I was young, I did things that I'm not proud of. Now, if you want, you can become friends with A again, I don't mind. And I said, after 4 years, will the friendship remain the same? She said, oh yeah. So that was the story. Hope y'all enjoyed.